Well, here's cheery news. Wall Street welcoming in the holidays. All three major averages closing at brand new record highs. The Dow clinching its 20th record close of the year, and the 8th in a row for the NASDAQ, the longest record streak in 21 years. All this on the 2-year anniversary of President Trump's tax cuts. Now, are you really better off now than you were 2 years ago because of this? The architects of the tax cuts say absolutely, and they are pointing to new data that they say proves it. Hi, everybody. This is Bulls and Bears. I'm David Asman. Thank you for joining us. Joining me on the panel today, Jonathan Hoenig, Carol Roth, Gary Kaltbaum, and Zachary Karabell. Well, President Trump's former chief economic advisor, Gary Cohn, and the former chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Kevin Hassett, both defending Trump's 2 years of tax cuts in an op-ed claiming that data shows that investment has increased far more than expected, with wages and job participation rising. So is this just PR from two guys who formulated the plan, or did the tax cuts really pay off, Carol?
The tax cuts really paid off, and obviously there's always an anecdote about somebody based on their own personal situation who maybe didn't do as well. But if you look across the board, the majority of Americans got tax cuts. If you have a 401k or an IRA or your money in the stock market in some other way, you've participated in that. In fact, this year all asset classes are up. You've got record lows in unemployment across the board, including for minorities and for women. So overall, this was a great success.
Yeah, although you cannot attribute things like unemployment going down, rising markets, and general goodwill in the GDP to the tax cuts, because those trends were well in place over the past 8 years, regardless. Let me finish. Those trends were well in place, and wage growth over the past 2 years has been 2.4%. GDP growth has been 2.4%, both slower than it was in 2016 and 17, as in the end of the Obama administration. As you know, I don't think any of this should be attributed to either Obama or Trump. Either way, I think we give way too much credit to this. But those are the facts.
Although,
those are the numbers.
Here's another fact. The Federal Reserve, they had a median forecast at the beginning of this administration that unemployment rate would inch up to 5%. In fact, it came down to 3.5%. This is the lowest it's been in 50 years. So there is strong evidence that we went counter to trend rather than with trend, guys.
Yeah, I mean, David, it's no big surprise here. Tax cuts put more money in the hands. And stop hearing when people say, oh, it's giving tax cuts to wealthy individuals, to anyone. It's letting them simply keep the money that they've earned. Tax cuts putting more money in the hands of productive people who've actually earned it. And, you know, David, there's this fantasy about, you know, the rich, that they, you know, they put all their wealth into a big, you know, room like Scrooge McDuck. What do they do with it?
All the gold.
I
knew that. I don't know if other rich people
do. They're the ones who invest it and create the jobs. Exactly the boom that we're all enjoying right now.
Gary, go ahead.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's us. We give them money. They don't give us our money. And this whole idea that they're giving it back to us. No, we are the driving force. Government doesn't turn on the lights without the dimes that we give them.
That's right.
And let's be clear and concise. I'm sorry, Zach. We're at 3.5% unemployment. We're at 3.5% unemployment. Markets are skyrocketing. I speak to small businesses all the time, and Carol is the queen of small business. They are happy as all heck, not just about tax cuts, but the massive regulatory cuts that they don't have to look over their shoulders every day at government. And by the way, while this is going on, you have California wanting to screw the independent contractors there, which is going to hurt business over there.
Let's talk to a man who spends his life dealing with small business. Now, Gary Cohn and Kevin Hassett, probably most important for the president's reelection is the argument that individuals and small businesses have fared even better than the big corporations since the tax cut. So let's bring in former small business administrator Hector Barreto. Hector, great to see you again. What do you think? Have small businesses done as well or better than the big corps?
No doubt about it. You know, remember that old saying, trust with verification?
Right.
We were trusting that this was going to work, and now we have a lot of the results. And, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. You talk to small businesses every single day. They're very happy with the way things are going right now. They want it to keep going. So they're hoping that this environment that they've been living under the last couple of years is going to continue going on into the future. But all across the board, whether you're looking at unemployment rates, which are at historic lows, especially for the Hispanic market, which I work very closely with the Hispanic market. We've never seen numbers this low. People are investing more into their businesses. They're expanding operations. They're looking forward to doing things internationally. So we want this to continue. And by the way, we think there's more that can be done with regards to tax incentives for small businesses.
Like what?
Well, look, at the end of the day, as you know, most small businesses pay their taxes at the individual rates. And so we think that the individual rates could go down a little bit more. A lot of large corporations, they have mechanisms that small businesses don't have to deduct things and to have monies offshore, et cetera. Small businesses don't really have those advantages. So we think that the tax cuts were good. They're helping small business, but we could even do more, and we could even grow the economy further for the next couple of years.
Gary?
May I add, give or take a few bucks here, we're going to send them, get this, we're going to send government, federal, state, and local this year like $5.5 trillion. There's plenty of room to cut there. They have not proven themselves to be efficient and effective with our dollars. I would take a few bucks out of it and don't feed the beast as much and watch the economy get even stronger than it is right now. That we've gone topsy-turvy over the last 10 years thinking the way to go is more money to government. It's the opposite. It's we the people that drive the economy, not them.
On the other hand, let me just throw something in here. The fact is that we were told time and again if you cut taxes, if you cut tax rates, you're going to have less tax revenue. Once again, we have proved that wrong. Tax rates came down and more tax revenue has come in, record amounts of tax revenue. Hector, that shows that the supply side theory that increasing economic activity, even with lower rates, can lead to more revenue. I think that's a good thing.
I agree with Gary, and I agree with some of your other panelists. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And some of the incentives that were built into these tax cuts have really benefited us in ways that we weren't seeing before. Trillions of dollars have been repatriated back into the United States. A lot of that money is going back into those companies. They're hiring more. They're loading up on inventories. I think we're going to see a lot of that evidenced in this last couple of days of the year, where you're going to see numbers going up in terms of sales.
Yeah, Hector, it's not like it's a big... And first of all, thank you for being with us. It's not such a mystery about where prosperity comes from, right? Lower taxes, lower regulation, lower government spending. Hopefully, Trump's going to work on the government spending in 2020. But let me ask you specifically about this notion of small business. Wouldn't you agree, however, that the supposed big business oftentimes portrayed as kind of evil? Amazon, for example, a rising tide lifts all boats, and the fact that Amazon does well helps exactly those small businesses, many of whom sell and use Amazon. So isn't it true that, in fact, in a prosperous economy, a rising tide lifts all boats?
No doubt about it. You know, all businesses start off small. Amazon was a small company at one time. The agency I used to run, SBA, helped create some of the most famous companies in the world. And as you know, small businesses, there's nothing small about them. They're the engine that fuels the economy, 52% of the gross output, 2/3 of the net new jobs, and a lot of the innovation that makes our economy so productive comes from those small businesses. Whatever we can do to give them more of their own money, they know what to do with it. They're not taking vacations and buying new cars.
Just one thing on the tax cuts have absolutely led to higher government deficits, and all of you would have probably been the people.
No.
Well, there are
spending has led to tax revenue has increased.
Yes, because if you don't cut your spending while you cut your taxes, you get higher deficits. So that
tax revenue is up 4% in 2019 over 2018. It is not a revenue problem. It is a spending problem.
And Zach's on the record. He wants to cut government spending.
I didn't say that. I said all of you would have been like, oh, my God, deficits are going to kill us, and we're spending more than we have. And now suddenly everything is bright, and the future is golden, and everything is perfect.
We hate deficits, and we hate inefficient and too high spending, and that needs to get addressed as we move forward, or else there will be a day of reckoning. So I am in that camp.
Hector Barreto, you got to come back. You stir a lot of debates here. We appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you.